So yesterday has been a rough day for us Nintendo fans. We got a partner showcase, but for most of us, it really wasn't the greatest thing ever. In fact, a lot of us thought it was one of the worst directs we've gotten in a long time. But my point of this video is to give you guys some hype and reassurance that good things are coming soon, including probably the next big major general direct full of goodies for us. I had a kind of come to realization moment, and I want to talk about this before we get into today's video because it's something that's been bothering me. And everybody online was just really bashing Nintendo for this direct, and I think criticism is definitely needed, and I will continue to criticize this company when need be. But I feel like the hate has a lot of times outweighed the positivity to the point where we're just hating so much. I don't want to turn this channel into a grifting situation or even a situation where I'm just hating nonstop because it's just not fun. There's no fun in just hating stuff over and over and over again, especially when it's video games, stuff that we're supposed to be loving. So I want to apologize if I've been posting a lot of negativity lately. I will still speak truth. I will not be, boot in mouth and not speak when it needs to be spoken and saying things against Nintendo when it needs to be spoken out, but at the same time I will be trying to focus more on positive and why we should be happy and looking forward to what Nintendo's going to do soon. Now if we don't hear about a Nintendo Direct or something until the summertime, yeah, there might be reason to be upset again. So after that Nintendo Direct, people are even more hungry for Nintendo to announce some big stuff, and one thing that I want to note is that it seems like Nintendo is moving away from their usual format. I've said this before, but it looks like Nintendo is moving out of the February month because they used to do January Directs, if you remember, before the Switch, and then for the Switch era they were doing February Directs, and it looks like towards the end of the Switch era to the Switch 2 era, they're moving towards March Nintendo Directs instead, or at least skipping February altogether. Now, something else to note is Nintendo is completely different now. Like, there's no set time and time frame for them to have a direct. It really could be any time and any place. I mean, look at last year. They had a general Nintendo Direct for Switch 1 specific games, and that happened at the very tail end of March, which also normally never happens. Nintendo never normally holds Nintendo Directs the last week of a month. I mean, this was on March 27th of 2025. So anything's possible, but I think a lot of people are expecting the next Nintendo Direct to be sometime in March. Now, is it possible for them to move to April or maybe even May or make us wait until the summertime? Of course, anything's possible, but I really don't see that happening this time. Now, one reason they might not feel pressed to have a February Nintendo Direct is because their schedule's kind of already packed up until literally like April. January, we already had the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Animal Crossing. In February, literally next week, we're having Mario Tennis Fever. In the beginning of March, we're having Pokemon Pokopia. At the end of March, we're going to have Super Mario Bros. Wonder Switch 2 edition. And in April, we will have Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. But let's really break this down before we go on to the rest of the games. Now, we'll get into this more in a second, but the rumor is that we'll probably have a general direct around the third week of February or beginning of March at some point. Now, let's say they do have a Nintendo Direct in the third week of February. That already takes off 2 of your 5 titles. And the 3 remaining is going to be a spin-off Animal Crossing vibe Pokemon game, which we already have Tomodachi Life and Animal Crossing New Horizons happening in the same time frame. So you're going to be taking care of 3 islands at this point. And then 2 Switch 1 games with Mario Bros. Wonder and Tomodachi Life. I highly doubt Nintendo wants to go into the springtime with only 3 games with release dates, and these being the 3 games. Because just look at the games that don't have dates yet. I mean, there's 5 of them. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, Rhythm Heaven Groove, The Duskbloods, and Splatoon Raiders. And what's even crazier is with those 5 games, we hardly have anything shown off with any of them. I think the one that we know the most of is probably Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, and we don't know much of that at all. I mean, we at least just got some sort of trailer giving us a good little look at what the game's going to be like, but the rest of the game's hardly nothing. So before we even get into new announcements, Nintendo still needs to desperately show off these games that they have announced so long ago. Like Splatoon Raiders was announced in the summertime of 2025, and we got like maybe a 30-second snippet of them doing something on an island. Like, we don't even know what the game's going to be like yet. Rhythm Heaven Groove is probably going to be in the same boat as Tomodachi Life, being a Switch 1 game the way it was announced in a Switch 1 specific direct at the beginning of 2025, but we've only seen like 5 minigames maybe, so yeah, we desperately need to see more of that one. And Yoshi and the Mysterious Book was a strange trailer. I mean, they hardly showed anything. They just kind of showed Yoshi walking around. And you could say the same thing with the Duskbloods, which is the FromSoft, exclusive game for Switch 2. They haven't really shown us anything. So just talking about games that we already know alone, Nintendo desperately needs to get out new information on these things, and they know it. So I am fairly certain we're going to see some big information revealed for these games soon. But let me try to give more evidence as to why I think there's a general direct coming soon to give us the goods. For one, Nintendo even came out in their investor meeting and stated how the second and third year of Switch 2 are quote-unquote extremely important to them. The Switch 2 came out the gate throwing up monstrous numbers with 15 million units sold already, and Nintendo wants to keep that trajectory going upward. They want to keep that momentum, and they know year 2 and year 3 is where the legs of a console can either continue to climb or they can fall off. And Nintendo apparently came out and said that they still had higher expectations for the Switch 2, and even one senior Nintendo employee stated how they had the absence of a major Western game still. And even investors had admitted to being a little spooked by the lack of first-party hits right now. And Nintendo's current software is doing pretty good, but nothing exceptional outside of Mario Kart World. When you look at each quarter to quarter, I mean, it's just literally selling like hotcakes. Yes, there's bundles with the Switch 2. The bundles are now officially gone as of 2026, but still, that's probably a lot of the reason why that game sold as well as it did, and also because it's Mario Kart, it doesn't matter the quality. But when you look at other games going from quarter to quarter, like Donkey Kong Bonanza going from 3.5 million pretty much to 760,000, the legs dropped off pretty significantly. So Nintendo's not stupid. They know video games are important. Software sales help to drive hardware sales, and they know their big IPs is what people are waiting for. Now, this partner showcase was no shock. There were a lot of sources that actually knew this was happening. Nate the Hate, a 100% reliable leaker, called this back all the way on January 26th. But I'm not exactly sure who called it first, but at the same time, Nash Weedle and Attack the Backlog both called a partner showcase happening. And they even knew the exact day it was going to happen on. Well, according to Attack the Backlog, he's heard that something is coming soon, but he can't confirm exactly what, but Nash Weedle can confirm exactly what he's heard, and this is what he had to say, translated by Attack the Backlog on Nash Weedle's podcast.
So, again, to summarize, we're hearing Monolithoft game, Mario 3D out this year. That's Nintendo's big game, is what Nash is hearing. And he's hearing from a couple of sources, third week of February, but he's also hearing from a few other sources, March.
So Nash Weedle is making some pretty big claims here. He's not as 100% as Nate the Hate, so if Nate says something, it's pretty much guaranteed to happen, but Nash has had an incredibly good track record with the Switch 2 so far. Now, I don't have all the receipts on Nash Weedle, but he's been pretty much spot on with a lot of stuff that I've been paying attention to since the Switch 2 had come out. I mean, he literally also just leaked Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming well before the Partner Direct was even announced. But if you want more information on the track record of Nash Weedle and more of the stuff that he's talked about in the past, I recommend that you check out a friend of the channel, Andres Restart, and that you also drop a subscribe. He literally covers all the rumors, all the information, keeps track of all the receipts of these leakers, and check out his 2 huge Nintendo reveals coming in a general Nintendo Direct soon video where he goes over those receipts. So yeah, this sounds very exciting, but real quick, please make sure you take everything with a grain of salt. We still don't know, and you know how long we've been waiting for certain reveals like 3D Mario, but yeah, he's claiming a general Direct in the 3rd week of February or sometime in March. He has different sources telling him different times, but he does confirm that we are going to be getting a brand new project from Monolithoft announced, and also the next 3D Mario game announced, and apparently it's coming this year and it's going to be the big holiday title. That is a very bold claim to make. You know how long we've been waiting for 3D Mario, and you know how excited I want to get over something like that, but of course I'm walking on eggshells here because you don't want to overhype something like this, especially with everybody looking for the next big game and they're expecting Mario and it doesn't happen. A lot of people are going to be let down, so take it with a grain of salt, but just keep your eye on this. Now, Monolithoft has helped Nintendo with other projects like Zelda games and stuff in the past, but they are primarily known for the Xenoblade games and the Xenoblade franchise. But apparently, recently, a rumor came out that Caitlin Thorburns' Spotlight profile updated referencing a Xenoblade Chronicles game coming in 2026. She voices a character named Cosmos, and Xenoblade 2, I believe this is a character from an old Xenogears game or Xenosaga, but she's in Xenoblade 2, and she updated her profile kind of signaling that there could be a Xenoblade project coming. Now, what is this big project? Some people said it could be a Xenoblade Warriors. I personally would love something like that, but I think this is going to be something else because this seems to be being worked on by Monolithoft. It could be Xenoblade 4, although I think it's a little too early for that. It could be a Xenoblade 2 Switch 2 edition, which we know Nintendo's known for their Switch 2 editions right now, and I think fans would really like that as well. Or it could be a completely new IP because a lot of rumors are going around that they're working on a completely different game right now as well. So who knows? But regardless, it looks like something Monolithoft is going to happen in the next Nintendo Direct, which once again gives Nash Weedle another point of credit. Now I want to jump back over to someone else. This is Zach from Switch Force, and he's a Nintendo YouTuber, and that's kind of all he's always been until right around the time the Switch 2 started coming out. He's actually been getting information on a lot of the Switch 2 presentations, and he's been 100% spot on so far, which is strange. He's not an insider, he's not a leaker, he's a YouTuber who's just getting information now. So he has some type of source that's been feeding him the goods, and he's, like I said, been 100% spot on. He even knew the partner was coming and called it, but he did so in kind of the weird, secretive way, and I don't think many people caught it. Like, for instance, before the show, he tweeted, "I need Microsoft to show Nintendo love tomorrow, doing a lot for PlayStation, let's bring it full circle," and tags Xbox. And obviously we got the whole end of the show, just tons of Bethesda games tossed over from Xbox, like Fallout and Elder Scrolls 4, Indiana Jones, so yeah, he knew about that one. Now he tweeted again the other day and said people will see the Switch 2 hardware numbers and say, see, they don't need any big games. Those numbers are exactly why they need big games. As the ghost of the Wii flies on by, good thing 3D Mario is coming. But once again, sometimes he can be super vague and no one knows what the heck he's talking about, as he just tweeted the other day. Are we allowed as Nintendo fans to say, good golly, I hope there's a General Direct in the next 35 days? What? So if we count 35 days from when he said that, which was on the 5th of February, that would take us to the 12th of March, the second week of March, on Thursday. So I think we're in between 2 days now, being the third week of February on Thursday the 19th, or the second week of March being Thursday the 12th. To get you maybe even a little bit more excited, Nintendo did tweet out something interesting from Nintendo New York and said, join us at Nintendo New York and Nintendo San Francisco this month for in-person events. Now, they do not tweet this out every single month, and they show the dates of February 12th for Mario Tennis Fever's launch. They show February 27th for Pokemon Day, which is probably going to have tons of news, especially since it's the 40th anniversary for Pokemon and Gen 10's probably coming this holiday season. But right in the middle of both of those is in-store events, and it just says February. What are those in-store events? It couldn't just be for a partner direct, because that's not very exciting. I mean, what would be more exciting than the next mainline General Direct and they ended on a 3D Mario game? I mean, they're going to want people to come in the store for the reaction videos and stuff, for the marketing, but Nash Weedle even comments on this and says, in-store events, it's good opportunity for reactions to Nintendo Direct. And to add even more fuel to that third week of February, Mike Odyssey, a good friend of the channel, actually found a trademark for Splatoon Raiders that appeared, but the publication date is set for February 17th. Which is that third week of February. Funny enough, some people online have even pointed out that on February 17th of 2021, that's when they announced Splatoon 3 in the Nintendo Direct. So what if they actually gave us new Splatoon Raiders info on the same day? Or a general Nintendo Direct sometime in that week where they showed off new Splatoon Raiders info. Something else Mike Odyssey had found was 2 more trademark publication dates that were just updated the other day for Mario and Wario, whatever that is, and Rhythm Heaven Groove. Now, Mario and Wario's set was for February 17th, once again like Splatoon Raiders, and Rhythm Heaven Groove's publication date is set for February 24th. Now, these are just trademark publication dates. This doesn't mean that the game's going to get revealed or shown off around this time or something like that, but it is very interesting that they're all around the same time. What is Mario and Wario even going to be? Like, what is that publication even for? I have absolutely no clue. Is there like a separate Mario and a separate Wario game coming, or Mario and Wario together? What if the next 3D Mario game is Mario and Wario or something? I don't know. I know I'm just yapping my head off, but who knows? But my point is, there's a lot of reasons to be excited right now. Nintendo wants the Switch 2 to be killer for years 2 and 3, and they're going to do everything in their power to make it happen. I mean, that's not even counting things like maybe even Mario Kart World getting some DLC or updates and stuff. So there's so many things to look forward to and so many things to be excited about, from new things and even small things. I mean, we didn't even talk about new things that they could announce outside of a new 3D Mario game. I mean, it is Zelda's 40th anniversary, so we could be getting anniversary stuff, like maybe even that Ocarina of Time remake or some cool old games that we've been waiting for, like Wind Waker or Twilight Princess HD coming over to the Switch 2. I mean, I'd be very shocked if they just completely skipped Zelda and act like it didn't exist this entire month. That would be very weird. This is a big anniversary for a huge franchise. And with a movie on the horizon and the fact that there's always at least one Zelda game to some capacity every year, even if it's a small remaster, remake, or a spinoff. So yeah, Zelda kind of has to be here sometime this month. I mean, shoot, even if it's not a combined presentation like they did with Mario, which I still think it might be because they've already had 2 Nintendo Directs for Switch 2, and they've both been 1 hour long shows. The first one focusing on the Switch 2 console, the second one focusing on the Mario anniversary at the beginning, and I can see them doing the same thing. But what if they don't? What if they just have a general direct sometime in March, and then in February is a Zelda anniversary direct? I'd be down for that too. And I am sure there's going to be a couple other smaller surprises still in the lineup, like maybe some more remasters or remakes of old 3DS games or older games we're not even thinking about, maybe some more spin-offs to fill some of those gap months. But yeah, I think Nintendo's second half of 2026 is where we're going to see the massive stuff. So if you're a little bummed out by Nintendo's output right now, and maybe it's just not what you're expecting to see so far, just hang in there a little while longer. I'm sure Nintendo's got the goods that's literally coming up the pipeline. We just got to be patient because, yeah, patience is definitely key with this console. I know it can be frustrating. I've been pretty frustrated with certain things with Switch 2 as well, but I'm sure things will be good here soon, starting with Mario Tennis Fever, which I want to actually talk about in its own separate video. Yes, I know today was supposed to be my Fire Emblem reaction video, but that one's going to have to be put off a little while longer because I want to prioritize a couple other things. So look forward to some information on Mario Tennis Fever soon, especially since the game launches next week. You're going to want to make sure that you leave a like and subscribe and turn on post notifications here, so that way you're updated on everything Mario Tennis Fever and just Nintendo in general. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and let me know if you're a little bit more excited now for Nintendo in 2026 than you previously were, and make sure you guys have yourselves a blessed day, and I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.